It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Turkey Calls,
Antler Action,
Family Tradition Tree Stands,
and Twisted Mind Bowstrings. And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin on a warm January evening with Dan DeFaw.
Warm. So warm, Mike Adams shoots his bow.
I shot my bow this weekend.
How did it feel?
It felt fabulous, man. It was so nice.
Wasn't it nice out?
The whole weekend. This whole week has been pretty doggone warm. There's no snow left.
No, there's no snow left. And from what I can tell, we're going to do a little bit up and down.
Yeah, it's going to get a little cold.
But it's going to get warm. So, but you were able to get out and shoot the bow.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I got the Evolve out and the Decree. Shot both of them. Little different. I didn't realize.
How much has gone into that Evolve?
Yeah, because, you get a bow, you put the other one away. I shot that one for a year, this whole last year. And I was like, get the Decree. Well, let's just shoot them. See what's what, And I was like, whoa.
I know. I had the Decree last year out when I was shooting the Evolve, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like it was when we were at ATA.
You're right.
You start shooting those bows that don't have that high let off, that have speed mods on them, what have you, and it's like, wow, man, this really is the Evolve was a game changer for us, and you just didn't realize where that was at from what you were shooting before to where you're at now. So, but no, it was really nice being able to get out and shoot. Didn't shoot a lot, but I think I sent 16 arrows down range.
Oh, there you go, just enough to get out, loosen up the limbs.
Yeah, loosen my limbs up a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, I was Friday night. I was out at a wild game dinner at a church that they were raising money to send their youth group. They do it every year, and it was pretty good. There's it wasn't about it was about 350 people.
That's a good turnout.
Yeah, it was packed. Had some the main course was the venison steaks.
Okay.
And then we had some pheasant stew.
Wow.
And then we had some wild boar meatloaf.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Then you had some Italian sausage in there and some potatoes and some dessert with some iced tea, and it was all good.
Yeah, that sounds like a good night, man.
It was a good night. It was a good night. I was good to help out. A friend at work invites me to go to that, and so I do.
Okay. Well, see, that was Friday night. While you were partaking in dinner, when I got out of work, I actually took off and went out and did something too.
Something you haven't done in a few years.
Yeah, I actually got out and went coon dogging.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were told me you were going to go do that, and it was like, wow. How was it?
It was beautiful. It felt so good and invigorating to be in the woods.
Running pitch black?
Yeah. No, actually, it was bright out. Actually,
really?
Yeah, we didn't slaughter them by any stretch of imagination, but and I think that might have been in part due to the fact that you could see where to walk without a flashlight.
Really? It was.
Yeah, at least on the two tracks.
Yeah, right. It was the moon was that bright.
There was cloud cover, but yeah, it was shining through. But there was enough to see. But there's just something about being out in the woods at night, listening to a blue tick hound do his thing, and I tell you what, man, it just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It was so cool. But we got an action-packed show tonight. We got a special guest coming on. We did an interview we want to get to, but the coon dogging stuff, we'll save that and talk about that later next week or so. But we were at ATA, and when we were there, we met a guy from Ohio, Mike Gustafson, who is part of Buckhaven Learning Ctr down in Ohio, and they put on a special hunt, Danny.
They do, and it's for the combat wounded veterans. And they're guided, and it's called the Whitetails for Warriors Hunt. And we talked to him about last year's hunt, and also they're going to do it again for this year's hunt.
Right. So when we were there, we met him, and we sat down and do an interview with him. So we're just going to toss it right to the interview right now.
Make sure it get a tissue ready, because there's a part in this that will pull your heartstrings.
Absolutely. There was a tear in everybody's eye at the end of this interview.
Yes, there is.
But without further ado, here's our interview with Mike.
We're back live here at the ATA show, and we're sitting down here out in the hallway doing a little interview here. We came across an interesting segment here, so we thought we'd bring it to you here, this segment. But sitting here down on the bench, here we are. Mike, you comfortable over there?
I am comfortable. This is a nice cushion on this thing.
Well, anything to help you out.
I need this in my tree stand.
Okay. Well, yeah. The raccoons will like it, too.
Yeah.
But, we're sitting here, we're sitting here with Mike Gustafson, and we're just...
Now you got me saying it.
See?
Gustafson. Mike Gustafson.
But everybody
here
knows
laughing at
Gustafson's
you.
in Michigan.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay.
But anyways, we're talking about Buckhaven Learning Ctr. And they put on an interesting thing that we heard about that goes on down in October for Wounded Warriors.
Okay.
So, but you know what? Instead
for
of us talking about it. For our servicemen. So instead of us talking about it, let's get him on.
Okay.
And talk to him about it.
Right.
All right? And matter of fact, he just happens to be on my right-hand side, which is the wrong side, Mike.
Yeah, he's on my left.
Yes. But, hey, Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
right.
Mike. Go ahead and say your name correctly so everybody knows.
Mike Gustafson.
See? Gustafson. Thank you.
Hey, come on now.
I'm going to bust your chops, man.
You will. But, the Buckhaven Learning Ctr, which he is, and they put on this Wounded Warrior event in October for our servicemen. Tell me all about it.
All right. Buckhaven Learning Ctr is a nonprofit organization with a 501c3, and we take 12 combat wounded veterans on an archery deer hunt in Ohio each year. This year, the hunt will be October the 10th through the 13th. The veterans will apply through our website at www.buckhaven.org. There's a page on there that they can click on to fill out the application for the hunt. Hunters will be drawn the end of July, and it's a random draw. So once the hunters are chosen for the hunt, our hunt coordinator will contact each one of the veterans, make sure that they're able to come up to our location from October the 10th through the 13th. And after that, everything's taken care of for them. They have to get to our location. We're a small organization where we cannot afford to pay for travel, but we take care of everything else for them. We supply them with full set of hunting gear, boots, hats, shirts, crossbow, all their license, their tags, and we have a full butcher shop on site. So once they harvest a whitetail, we can get it all cut up for them, and they're good to go.
That is awesome. And you know what? Like you said, all they have to do is just get to your place, and from then on, it's all you take care of it all.
Everything's taken care of from there. Food, lodging, meals, license, etc.
And last year, how did this go? You had 12 hunters. How many were successful?
Last year at the 12 hunters, we had 11 harvest, and the 12th one did not harvest, had the opportunity, but passed, and he was looking for something 160 inches or bigger. And we've all been there.
Right,
So he had the opportunity, but passed, so it was a very successful year.
That's awesome. And, you know, put something on like this. You do some benefits throughout the year, and you also accept donations for this. Obviously, looking at the flyer you have here, coming up in February, you've got a benefit here at the banquet. And it's almost sold out, you said.
Yes.
But you can still get tickets, and you can go online at thebuckhaven.org and check that out. Or I see here you're having a 3D shoot coming this September.
Correct. We have 3 events each year to raise money to take these guys and gals on this hunt. We do a 3D shoot in October. Come in, have the 3D shoot. We have raffles, auctions, and that type of stuff at the end of the 3D shoot. We have a turkey and trap shoot, and we also have our banquet, which you spoke about a minute ago. That's our big money maker for the year. If anybody's ever been to an NWTF banquet, it's real similar to one of theirs. It's dinners included, with your ticket price. This year it's pulled pork and brisket, mashed potatoes and beans, salad, drinks.
All good food.
Great.
Absolutely. And also, if you want to just check out their website and make a donation, you can go to buckhaven.org and click on the link for the donation page as well. If you're listening to the podcast and you can't get to any of these events, it would be great if you could donate. But, I want to know something. How did you get started in this?
Was asked by a member of Buckhaven to come up and be a guide. I've hunted ever since I was a little kid, and me and this gentleman have been friends for quite a few years, and he said, hey, I want you to get involved in this. First year I went up, guided 3 different veterans, because the veterans don't have the same guide each day.
Okay, you switch out outfit guides every day.
Yeah. Yes, we switch out. We do morning hunt, and then come back in for lunch, and then do an evening hunt. So we'll switch out so the guides get to meet all the veterans, and the veterans get to meet all the guides. So it makes it, everybody gets to know each other. When you come in to our organization, everybody comes in as a friend, and they all leave as our family.
Right, and matter of fact, Dan Yasa from PSC, who we spoke with about this last year, that he attended this event, and he said it was just an absolute a blast, really, because you did so well, and it was just a great time. The atmosphere with everything was just good overall, but it's got to be a pretty good feeling when we can go out there and help these guys and gals that, they did a lot for us, so we're just giving a little bit back for them. And it's just a matter of that little bit goes a long way.
Well, I got to imagine the impact that it makes. I mean, not only on you, as you said, but on the veterans themselves.
It does. It does a lot. Just real shortly here, the veterans, a lot of them are skeptical. Unfortunately, they've been taken advantage of, on some types of stuff like what we're doing, and we're not like that at all. We are there for the veterans, and we're told all the time we just cannot believe that there are people out there that want to do this for combat wounded veterans.
Well, it just goes back to what Danny said, is the fact that they've given so much and we have such a passion for the outdoors. I mean, all of us hunters and fishermen, whatever your outdoor game is, it's a way of life for us, and be able to give something back like that. To me, it's tremendous. It's got to impact you guys that are doing it, and like I said, and the veterans themselves.
And that you're right, Mike. It's just whatever we can do to give that little bit back, and we're finding little bits and pieces of, exactly what Whitetails for Warriors is doing, giving back and not taking advantage of them already, because they've
right.
done enough.
Can you think back just quickly? I'm going to put you on the spot here. Can you think back? What's one of your most memorable hunts with one of these guys? You laugh, so something comes to mind right away. You can tell on air that's clean.
It's clean, yeah.
It is clean. We had one gentleman a couple years ago, and I will not use his name, but when he hears this, he'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Very loud, not loud in a bad way, but high-strung is the better word for it. And we were all wondering who is going to take this guy out the first day. And lo and behold, I got drawn. They said, Mike, you're taking him. I said, I don't care. I'll take him. We'll have a good time. So took this gentleman out and explained to him, hey, there's a corn pile out there. The deer's going to come to the corn pile. I'll let you know when to shoot. I give you the green light when to go. And he goes, okay, I understand. And I tapped him on the leg and I said, hey, here comes a deer. And before I could say anything else, he had his crossbow up and went poof and missed the deer. And I said, Billy, what are you doing? He goes, I got all excited. I ain't never seen a deer before. He goes, those aren't the things I've ever hunted before.
He had never seen a deer before?
Never in the woods. Never been hunting before. Had seen one, on the road, but it was just a total shock to him. So, yeah, Billy, when you're listening to this, my brother Billy, what a great guy. Touched my life tremendously. I would do anything in the world for the guy, and the guy would do anything in the world for me. That's, if you can give me just a second here, and I use this story a lot. Billy came down the following year after the hunt to our banquet. We asked him to be our guest speaker, and he came to my house the day before the banquet. We're sitting around the table talking, and he said, Mike, I've got something for you. I said, Billy, I don't want anything from you, just your friendship. He goes, nope, I've got something for you. It took me a while to figure out what I was going to give you. He said, and I've got something, and you're going to take it. And he slid this box across my kitchen table to me, and I just looked at it and turned around and slid it right back. I said, I can't take that. And he goes, you're going to take it, or I'm going to kick your butt here in your kitchen. I said, no, I can't. He goes, you're going to take it. He said, now open it up. He slid that box back over to me, and I opened it up, and it was this Purple Heart.
That's awesome.
And when I accepted this from him, I told him, I said, Billy, I said, I still can't take this. You know, you need to give this to your son. He goes, no, you changed my life and your organization changed my life. He says, my son will understand that one of these days. He said, a 4-star gave this to me after I got blown up. He said, this is yours now. He says, we use a term in the military, brother. And he says, you are my brother.
Look at that. That's just amazing.
You know, tell me that this organization doesn't do good. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it touches lives on both sides.
Right, exactly. You know, and his life, Billy's life was actually shattered, so to speak. And, you know, Mike here stepped up. Did he ever get a deer, by the way?
Yes, he did. He harvested on the last day of the hunt.
Okay. I just had to, now that
that's good.
It's like, okay. Matter of fact, when they're hunting, are you allowed to shoot bucks and does, or what's a little bit of the regulation that?
Yeah, in Ohio, you can take antlered or antlerless deer. So yes, you can harvest a doe or a buck. Now we ask the veterans, you know, hey, if we get the small button buck that comes up, you know, hey, let's pass on this one. You know, he's going to turn into a mature whitetail.
Right. Yep. A little education.
You know, we try to do a little conservation here, you know, and let that small buck grow, and so he'd be there to harvest the following year or a couple years down the road. But yeah, you can shoot a buck or a doe at our organization.
That's a good way, and like you said, you got a little bit of education, letting the button bucks go, let them grow, and but it's just awesome. The whitetails for warriors, man. You're doing 12 a year. And you're looking forward to this year, and then the year after that, and the year after that. So anybody out there, you want to get involved with this, definitely go to buckhaven.org and get a hold of Mike here and get involved. If you're in the area of Ohio there, it's probably a weekend that will change your life.
Well, we just heard one story, and I got to imagine there's 12 of them just like it every year.
I'm thinking so.
Well, Mike, thanks for stopping in. I hope this helps get you guys in the direction you need and get you a little help your way. But is there anything you want to leave with us before we wrap up?
I just like to thank you guys for the opportunity to do this so we can get the name of our organization out there so we can help more combat wounded veterans across the United States.
All right. Well, we're going to, as we always say, step outside. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show. Sitting in the cabin tonight.
It is time.
It is time. It is time for what?
It is time for our big announcement.
Well, you've got somebody here that's lurking in the background behind us.
Well,
who is this?
Well, that's part of our big announcement that we kind of been teasing along, that you've been playing along your little music box there, and
I have been playing all week, and it's been a pleasure to play with all these calls. Tim Sias here from, is it Hearts?
West Virginia.
Yes. West Virginia.
Right there, see?
Lim Walker Game Calls. You can see our shirts. Tim, welcome to the show, and thanks for helping out Up North Journal here, so we appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Look forward to everything.
Oh, that's music to my ears.
It is proud to bring him on board as a sponsor of the show. We'll be using his calls exclusively this year for our turkey season.
Absolutely.
And not just calls. We've got
the Turkey Sling.
The Turkey Sling.
How did you get started with game call making, Tim? I mean, what got you into this besides the love of turkeys?
Well, before I was married, just found a hobby.
Okay.
And I got started with the internet, seeing how things was made, how people was doing things and picking up. And I thought, looking at what guys was doing and stuff, I thought, well, shoot, I can do that too. And so I just started buying wood and buying the tools and equipment and doing a lot of trial and error. And next thing you know, here I am.
So you're not a woodworker by trade? This is a hobby?
This is strictly a hobby, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You know, you see guys who may be a woodworker, a finish carpenter, or a cabinet maker, or something like that picks up these things and starts, making calls, whether it be a box call or a slate call like these, or what have you. So that's awesome. Now, let's take a step back in the Wayback Machine. How did you get involved in hunting? Was it as a child? Was it as a family member that took you out and got you into this?
Oh yeah. Back when I was my father, he would carry me through the mountains when I was 2 and 3 years old.
Wow. Okay.
He would take me out squirrel hunting, and when I'd get too tired to walk, I'd say, "Daddy, I'm tired," and he would have a gun in one hand and pick me up in the other and walk me through the woods. And when it come time, he would sit me down beside him, and we'd squirrel hunt.
Now, is that right there in West Virginia?
Yeah, southern West Virginia.
So he had some good arms and some good legs, because
not flat.
It's not flat land like it is here in the Michigan thumb area where we live, or mid-Michigan area. So I can just imagine hauling a kid around, hauling a shotgun. Let me ask you this. What did you do when you got a bag full of squirrels or you got a turkey? I mean, at what point did you have to get down and walk? And he's like, you just got to take care of yourself now. You got to walk because I got to carry all this other stuff. Or did he make you start carrying stuff?
Well, not now. I didn't get to carry no gun until I was up in age. It was probably 9 or 10 years old before I got to take a gun.
Okay.
But I would get to carry the squirrels in my vest. I had a little vest just like my dad's. It was the old brown tan,
right?
Tan vest. And of course, he would get a squirrel in his vest, and then he'd kill another one. I got to carry it. Awesome. And then when we only had a 6 limit squirrel, so he would have 3 and I would have 3.
Okay, all right. Now, where did the passion, the love for turkey? When did that come along?
When my dad he would take me out probably 11, 12 years old. I started turkey hunting.
Okay.
And now here where we lived in Logan County. I was grew up and raised in Logan County. And we didn't have many turkeys here. When I was that age and someone said, "Hey, we saw a wild turkey," you call them a liar. The only turkeys that was around here were the tame turkey.
Okay.
Most of West Virginia turkeys was on the eastern part of the state, and that was in Greenbrier County, where we had a camp over there.
Okay. So
during the spring, I didn't get to hunt the spring because of school. But he would sneak me up on the weekends, and we'd go up and hunt the Monongahela National Forest.
Okay.
So as we was up there, hearing my first gobble and knowing what it's like and seeing, he taught me what turkey scratching was. Told me, showed me how they roost, where they dust themselves in sand, how they clean themselves. Mm-hmm. A turkey track. I was 10, 11, 12 years old.
So he broke you in pretty early. You cut your teeth when you were a youngster.
Yeah.
So this hasn't been something you've just taken up here recently. I remember my dad got me involved in it, I want to say in 1998, 99, somewhere around that time. So, I mean, I've come on to turkey hunting later in life. I wasn't raised in it like you were. So that's got to be something to be able to run around the hills and hollers and mountains in West Virginia with your dad and be able to chase turkey like that.
Yeah, my dad was my best turkey, was my best hunting buddy.
Right on.
At the age of 19, I killed my first turkey.
What was that like?
Now let me say this. The reason why is because, like I said, I was in school,
mm-hmm.
so I didn't get to go out hunting much like that. So once I got out of school and I was able to go, I got to go for the whole week when I was 19.
Okay.
The first day of the season, on 1991, I killed my first turkey. My dad called in my first turkey. What was it like? I was on cloud nine. I finally broke the ice, and or got the monkey off my back.
Right.
I was in the hunting camp. I was the talk of the town.
Yeah.
Because I was the only one that had a turkey hanging up.
Gotcha. What do you remember about that hunt? I mean, what other than just killing the bird, was there anything special about that hunt that you remember?
Yeah, I can remember seeing the turkeys coming down the hill to the flat where we was at and stuff. And I can remember watching the gobbler going back and forth because there was hens with him. I should have said that there was hens with him.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the dreaded hens.
Oh yeah, first day of the season, and I trying to get my gun up without spooking, being seen was the hardest thing I did. It was the hardest thing. I can remember doing that. Now I want to tell one on me, and I don't really care, but I unloaded my gun on that turkey.
Okay.
And I still missed it, and I still didn't kill it.
Okay.
I had to load my gun up with 3 shells, and on the third shell of that second load, I killed that turkey.
Okay.
You were throwing lead.
When I started shooting that turkey started flying to me.
Flying at you?
Me. Yeah, it started flying towards where we was at.
Okay. And
I was just shooting, boom, 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 out of excitement, adrenaline. I wasn't taking aim. I was just pulling the trigger. The turkey coming, and I'm shooting up in the air.
Sure.
And finally, Dad said, "Slow down." And the turkey hit the ground, and that last shell, I shot and killed it.
That is awesome.
That's a story. I tell you what, that's memories for sure. That but it's funny when you say shoot at them and then they come running at you or flying at you.
Yeah, we've had a story like that with one of the guys we used to hunt with. Actually, still do hunt with occasionally. But yeah, you just never know what's going to happen out there. That's what I love about it. The springtime, it's warm. You got birds working. I don't know, man. There's just something about turkey hunting that just makes the hair in the back of my neck stand.
There is nothing better than sitting there in the darkness and then all of a sudden they just fire off.
Right on.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
So Tim decided I'm going to get into turkey call making, and we got with us 3 calls. What is your favorite call? The slate, the glass, copper, aluminum. What's your favorite type?
The double side call, the plastic pot that you have there.
Yep.
The glass over slate. That's my favorite.
I'm partial to those myself. It just gives you a little versatility, I think.
Right. I have 2 calls in one right there.
Yep.
And you can do so many different things, especially on that slate.
Oh, I love slate. There's one thing I like is slate. You got one in front of you?
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it. You're the man that made the calls.
That's right.
You play them.
Let's hear the professional.
I do. I like the slate. I can get a fighting purr with it.
Boom.
Boom.
I wouldn't even wait to the end of that, but boom.
Oh, man, that's good stuff right there.
It is. And so that was the slate slide. Play the glass slide.
Now,
there you go.
When you're out running in the woods and you've got your calls with you, we've got the different pegs here. Do you run with multiple pegs? I mean, different styles or different hardnesses or different materials?
Yep. Yeah. I my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he always made fun of me because he said I always had one of everything in the Cabela's and Bass Pro magazine.
Right.
But I'll probably have 5 or 6 different strikers.
Okay.
Yeah, we do too. Greg K on Facebook says, Tim, I can see Dallas telling you to slow down.
Yeah, that Dallas was my dad. Yeah, that's true.
And right behind that comment is Christy.
That's my sister.
And she says, your dad would be so proud of you.
I hope.
Oh, no, there's no doubt he would be proud of you. There is no doubt. you've taken something you found a love for, and you're making these calls, and how long does it take you? Well, okay, so we know you like the glass over slate, but out of the wood ones, what's your favorite wood type to work with?
To work with would be the wild cherry.
Why is that?
It's not so hard when you put the knives. When I got it on the lay, it doesn't splinter out. It doesn't dust out. It's very, very good wood to work with, and it's very beautiful. And about this one, let me tell you about this. This was cut here on Harts where I live. It was cut down, was milled, planed, dried, and then put on the lay and cut all here on Harts, West Virginia.
Okay.
This piece of I call it wild and wonderful cherry.
Okay.
Is what I use. But it's just a very pretty wood. I mean, it's hard for me to show this to you through the screen without you looking at it. But it has the grain and the texture of it, and looking at it, it's very pretty. And I won't be honest with you. When you take a black walnut, and it's just as pretty. This is from Harts too as well. There's a big difference between this wild cherry and this black walnut in the sound. I believe a light color wood has a better sound to it. When
you say better sound, what do you mean by better sound? To somebody that maybe doesn't really understand what we're talking about here, has a question about what do you mean by that?
I believe that I can get a better tone, a better way I want it to sound.
Okay.
I believe you can get it. It's not as I'm kind of lost on the word. I can just make a better sound out of this wood. I can make this wild cherry
sound more like a turkey.
Yeah, thank you.
A true representation of it.
Yeah, I can make it sound better. Where it's light, it's not going to be compared to something dark where you're going to have a dark tone.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep, yeah. So a hard wood has a darker or a heavier tone to it.
I think so. Myself, me being what I do, I think it does.
Okay.
I think it does. And then now here's red cedar. This come from Elk Creek, Virginia, and this is over almost 50 years old.
Okay.
And there's a difference in this sound. And there's a difference in this weight of this call.
Which one's heavier? Which one's heavier?
The wild cherry.
Okay.
Because this one's a lot more drier. I mean, this is 50 years old. It had been cut, planed, and milled for over 50 years. It was sitting in a woman's basement where her husband used to make knives and use it as a knife handles.
Oh, okay. All right.
And her son, me and him used to work together, and he messaged me one day. He said, "You interested in some red cedar?" And I said, "Well, what you got?" And he said, "I got about 25 boards that my dad used to use." And I said, "Well, what do you got to have for it?" And he told me, and I said, "I'll be down Saturday."
Right.
So, and it smells. It's red cedar.
Mm-hmm.
The smell of red cedar. It's awesome.
Which pegs? You sent us 3 different types, and one is an acrylic.
Yeah.
So which pegs do you like working with the best?
Okay, you should have got a diamond wood, a hickory, and an acrylic.
Mm-hmm.
The hickory, which is what I always provide with to my customers, and simply because the hardness of the wood, and it's not real soft, and it's heavy. And you can ask a lot of guys that does competitive calling or something like that with the 2-piece. If you do a 2-piece, a lot of guys will drill the top and put lead in to get a certain weight. Well, with the hickory and everything, you have it, and it will still be able to get the sound that you want with the pressure on the surface.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, with that thought, hold on. We got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the rest of the strikers.
Okay.
All right. We're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show. We're still sitting here talking turkeys, and we were talking about strikers before we went to break, Danny. We're talking about the difference.
We're talking about the different. He sent us 3 different ones, and the next one you're going to talk about the acrylic.
The acrylic is a waterproof striker.
There you go.
If you have a monsoon, if you have a foggy, misty morning, and you pull out a slate call, pull that acrylic out, and you can use it as long as it's raining.
On a slate call?
Do what?
You can use that on a slate call when it's wet.
Yeah, acrylic, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
The slate can be wet as well?
Yeah. Yeah, you can take a peek like what you're drinking now. You can pour it on your slate call, and you can run it with acrylic all day long.
I did not know that.
Now on the ends of that, one thing I don't do with mine, on my calls or my strikers, I will not, unless you ask me to, I will not do nothing to them because I let people work their own surfaces and work their own slate.
Okay.
Work their own strike.
Right.
Everybody's different.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. Some people get very particular as to their strikers and that.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, and that was a question I was going to ask you. Is the acrylic? It simply looks like it's just cut square. On the end, it's not rounded like you would think the other pegs are. And that was one of the questions. So you do that so everybody can work them the way they want them.
Yep. That's just a piece of acrylic rod, dowel rod.
Okay.
And I cut it to a certain length, and and I put it into the striker head. And I have one of them in my vest every time I walk out the door in the spring.
I know what's going in my vest right now.
Yeah, right.
Now,
even if the weatherman says it's going to be a sunny 80-degree day, beautiful, nothing to worry about, that's still in my vest when I leave.
Well, how many times have I been out, Danny, and sitting up against a tree on a morning waiting for the sun to rise? You get that heavy dew or that morning fog just kind of settle in, and I look down and my slate's wet, and I'm like, really? It happens so often.
Or you're sitting under a pine tree or something and it starts dripping.
Yeah, so now, would you suggest on these acrylic they need to be rounded like a normal peg?
Not like I give on that hickory striker. No, you don't have to do it. Just take you a piece of 60 or 80 grit sandpaper.
Okay.
And just kind of smooth out the tip of it.
Okay.
And see how you just whatever you be comfortable with where you can get the sound. And like I said, you can actually pour some water on it and work it to see what you want to do. And if you have to do some more sanding on a certain part of it or anything like that, that's what I always suggest people to do.
Okay. All right. Right on. Interesting.
It's pretty simple, actually.
Okay. I got a question here. I've noticed a couple of the pegs that I use on the very ends, up on the heavier end of it, they're hollow. People or companies will drill them out, and why is that? Is that to resonate sound, or is it to get weight off, or what's the reason for that?
Both.
Okay.
You like I said, the heaviness and the dents of the wood and everything, with the amount of pressure you have on the surface. Like I said earlier, some guys, competition callers, will do this. They will drill out the head of these, and they will pour lead in it to make it heavier. So, yeah, you can, and some guys, too, me and another guy was talking about this, how they do it. They will get lead. If you've ever seen them right here, they'll have like a pinhole that goes drilled through. Mm-hmm. They will take like a syringe some way and be able to put that lead down in there to put the weight in that and make it heavier.
Okay.
Especially for like a key striker. When you're wanting that key on a surface,
mm-hmm.
You have a certain type of wood. A lot of guys will use rhododendron. A lot of guys will use dogwood and stuff like that. And they'll put that. They'll do it and put it in there and make it for the heavy. For the heaviness of it.
Okay, I got you. Right on. All right.
And that okay. So that's 2 of the 3 strikers. Now the third striker, which is A darker wood.
Diamond wood.
Diamond wood. All right. So
that is probably the most popular wood striker that is out there on the market today. On one of the Facebook pages that I'm on, I believe it was the Turkey Hunting Calls, I put a post to do a little poll and asked what is everybody's go-to striker, and about 80% of the answers were diamond wood.
Okay.
And you do get a real good sound. I mean, you do get, a good sound with that diamond wood. It's an exotic wood, of course, and
yeah, that's.
I love that sound.
That means the weather's getting warmer.
No kidding.
No kidding. Enough.
Right. Okay, now all these are basically the same diameter. I've got a striker that's actually bulbed on the end, on the peg end of it that plays on the slate or whatever surface. Why are those made that? Is it just to elicit a different tone?
Yeah, you'll get the ones that's flat on the end. You'll get the one that's rounded. If I'm mistaken, did I send you guys the rounded ones?
Yes.
On the end?
Yes.
Okay, and then you'll get like the mushroom flare.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
exactly.
And then you'll get some almost like a pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just where guys has got out with trial and error and done different styles, and has been able to make a sound, and they put it out there. The next guy sees it. He's like, "Hey, look what Tom, Dick, and Harry's using here, and
right.
Joe and Don's using over here," and everybody's trial and error and research and development.
Okay.
Yeah.
R&D.
There you go.
Try a little of this, try a little of that.
Speaking of little R&D, one of these wood calls, the slate one, how long would it take you to make one?
From starting it from the blank to the time that it's ready to be glued together?
Yep, there's a blank sitting on your tabletop, and I'm going to make a call today.
20 minutes.
In 20 minutes, he can have a call.
I can have the pot ready to be put conditioning, put oil on it to condition in 20 minutes.
Okay. There you go. That is awesome.
Okay, so if Danny has a tree up north, let's say it's a cedar, okay, and it's been laying in the woods for 20, 30 years, and it's still intact because cedar lasts a long time, and he cuts, a 6-inch section out of it or whatever you need to turn a blank out of, and he sends that to you. Is that something that could be done?
Yeah, actually, there was a gentleman messaged me yesterday and asked me if I would do it because his grandfather had a piece of red cedar from their farm.
Okay.
And he asked me, would I make a call? He wanted a call made out of that wood from their family farm, and I said, send it to him.
Okay, right on.
Yep. So now I'm going to have to go scour my property for cedar.
Well, we've got white cedar here in Michigan, up where we're at. It's a white cedar.
Now, white.
Have you ever turned white cedar, or is that not something that would be useful to make a call out of?
I've never used white cedar. I would be more glad to try.
Okay. All right.
I might be hunting for cedar.
Well, we've got plenty of it blowed down on our property.
Right, exactly. We got a ton of it.
Okay, let's say there's a tree like you just said on the family farm, and somebody wants to have a call made out of that tree. Mm-hmm. What diameter and what length of blank would they need to send you? A chunk of wood?
A 4x4 by 1 inch thick.
4x4, 1 inch thick. Okay, and when you say 1 inch thick, we're cutting cross grain.
Yeah, 1 inch thick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And while we're talking to you, if anybody wants any information on Lim Walker game calls,
where are they going to find you at?
Where are we going to find you at?
Facebook at Lim Walker Game Calls.
So there you go, everybody.
And I'm on Instagram at Lim Walker Game Calls.
You have a regular website as well?
No, I did. And, I sold more on Facebook than I did off of the website. And so I just did away with the website.
Okay. That makes sense. Save
there
money.
You go. Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
And we're going to have a link to those as well as
on
our page.
You're going to see a lot of these coming up as we get closer to turkey season. Mike was already playing with it. I was videoing him this week.
Well, did you see the video? My grandson.
Your grandson was messing with it.
Yeah. Well, he was on the crow call earlier today, but we got the call on his hand and he couldn't make the connection, so of course I had to help him just a little bit. But
right.
Yeah, he loves playing with the calls. Let's talk about the turkey sling. That's something we haven't talked about yet. It was a turkey sling. Where did the idea for that come from?
A a few years ago, I had injured my wrist, and I had went out hunting. It was on a Saturday morning, and I had killed the biggest turkey I've ever killed. It was over 22 pounds.
Okay.
And I was trying to carry it out along with my gun, and I couldn't. It got to the point to where I pretty much just set everything down and went and got the ranger and had to go get it because it was please on that TFCC tear, which meant the ligaments and the tendons was tore away from in my wrist. They were tore. I could still use it. I just couldn't, pick nothing up
you
or
had no strength
grab or anything. Yeah, gotcha. And when I had to have surgery, and when I was home recuperating and stuff, I got to thinking. I said, I'm doing this. I said, there's got to be something for somebody that you can use, to carry a turkey out. And I started with paracord, and it bombed. It just did not take off. And so one day I'm out in the shop, and there's some material out in my shop, and I got to looking at it, and I just started studying on it as I looking, and I started moving it around and configuring it in different ways and different things. And next thing you know, I'm at a sewing machine and had my wife's aunt to sew it, and that's it. So that started the first part of it, but I was still under the R&D part. And last year at our Jake's hunt at the local NWTF chapter, the Logan area chapter of the NWTF, mm-hmm. we had 5 hunters, and I donated 5 slings. And I told them, I said, you guys are going to have to. I said, you guys kill the turkeys. You guys are going to have to help me. I said, because this first day hit the market was last year.
Okay.
And out of 5 hunters, 4 killed a turkey. And I told them, I said, check them out. I said, tell me if they're too long, if they're too short, if they're not wide enough, if they're not, if they're too wide.
Right.
I had these kids that range from 8 years old up to 15 years old that were doing my R&D for me. And I finally came up with what I wanted, and their dads helped me. They give me some advice on what we needed to do and stuff like that. And then I've had other friends tell me so. But from the injury of my wrist, I come up with Tim's Turkey Sling.
And you got a nice black part here that is on the sling that rests on the top of the shoulder pad.
Shoulder pad.
Yep.
Yeah, non-slip shoulder pad.
Exactly. I was just about to say it's non-slip. It's got the little beads on the one side. Put that on your shoulder, and your hands will be free to carry other things like your gun.
Also, too, number one thing is the safety part. It's blaze orange.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's traditional for a turkey hunter to kill their turkey. They're going to carry it out with their wrist on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this here, when you do that, you've got a turkey over your shoulder, and then you've got a gun on your sling, or even if you're carrying it, you've got both of your hands
tied up.
Tied up. With this, you've got that sling on that turkey, and you can maneuver that turkey however you may want it. If you want to put it over your neck, I wish I believe it or not, I'm sold out of them right now. I'm waiting on the rest of my new batch to get sold. I sold the rest of them yesterday. But you can put however you want to put it over your neck or just put it on your shoulder. But you have your hands free if you're walking down a mountain, walking down the road, and you come across a coyote. During the spring, hen calling, I don't know how, 2 or 3 different times I've had coyotes come in on me last year.
Mm-hmm. So
when you're calling, you can call those coyotes. You got a gun, and they're going to be around. You can take and shoot that coyote,
right? Because
your hands are free,
right?
Who knows if Mr. Rattlesnake's going to come up on you,
right?
Who knows if something else might come up on you? That you never know when you might have to defend your own self,
right?
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
It is, yeah. You never know. I mean, it could be, it could even up here where we're at, it could even be bear,
right?
Yeah, well, here we got bear too. I mean, if you come across a mama bear with cubs, she's going to take care of them babies.
Right.
Oh, yes, she will.
Right.
And you have to protect yourself. I'm sorry to say that there may be a situation, but that's what I was. It's hands-free nylon webbing. It's not heavy. Mm-hmm. It's durable, and it's got the loops. The one's going to go around the neck. One other loop's going to go around the legs. You cinch them down. Now, the wings might open a little bit or something, but you can always tap it back in together. But
right.
It's just something that's makes it comfortable for you.
Yeah, I think too. Like you say, you got that hand free. walking in and out. I mean, how many times have we been walking and we're packing stuff out and you lose your footing? You got a hand free to grab a hold of maybe a nearby small tree or something, or crossing over a fence, what have you. It keeps you from, having both hands tied up and being in, like you said, a situation that could get yourself in some trouble.
Absolutely. And not only does it come in orange, it comes in another color.
And what would that be?
Hot pink.
Hot pink. Okay.
For the ladies.
And there again, it's safety.
You're right on.
It's there's a brightness to it when you're walking out, because last year I had 5-6 other hunters around me, and don't take the chance, right?
Right. I got you.
So, but no, that's awesome. Another thing that like you said, you picked up on it, Tim. When something happened to you, you figured out a way to get around it.
Mm-hmm. It just, and it's going to help. It's going to help everybody. Not only if it's an elderly person, but a young person. A mid-aged adult that might have an injury such as myself, or just don't have the strength to carry one out like that. They can put it up on their shoulder if they have to. It's got a lot of uses to it and everything.
Absolutely. So you know what? With that, let's step outside. We'll take another break, and then we'll come back and finish up the show with Tim here.
All right, we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
I shoot PSE because I like one pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet.
I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets, or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. Chatting with some of the people here on Facebook during the live stream here in the break. And actually, what we're going to talk about now really doesn't have anything to do with turkey hunting. We're going to talk a little bit about elk.
Well, something that was in Michigan. We've tried to do it. We've done it with moose.
Yeah, and we've done it with elk too,
Yeah.
and restored the elk here in Michigan back in, I want to say, 70s.
It was the early 60s that the hunts were, I think, because I don't know if my uncle was one of the last ones to get one.
On the elk?
On the elk.
Before they stopped it?
They stopped it, and then I think it was the mid-70s they did some transplanting.
So now, from what it sounds like, Tim, you've got elk that they brought from Kentucky. Now you said Arizona, they're bringing over into West Virginia, so they're starting to try to repopulate that area with elk?
Yep. Last January, they released 24 elk at the Tomlin Wildlife Management Area that borders Logan County and Mingo counties here in southern West Virginia.
Okay. Now,
and
go ahead.
Unfortunately, we had a cow and a calf to get hit during the summer, and that calf was the first one born in West Virginia since back in the 1800s.
Wow, that's a long time.
It was hit. Yeah, it followed its mother out on the road, and they were both hit and killed.
Oh.
And then we had two other ones. One died, I believe, from pneumonia. And then the other one died from an infection that it got when it injured its hoof as it was in one of the pens.
Okay. So how many did they bring in originally from Kentucky, do you know?
24.
So now they're down to 20.
21. No, 21, because they didn't count. We had 24, and then to begin with, and then they had. We've got more calves. We've had one or two more calves.
All right, good. The reproduction is starting to catch up with that group. Okay, cool.
And they're going to bring. You said how many from Arizona they're going to bring over?
There is a team of wildlife DNR biologists out in Arizona now that's working. They've got them in the quarantine cages now, and they're roughly looking at about 60 that's going to come from Arizona. And then later on, I believe in the summer, there's going to be bringing about another 15 or 20 again from Kentucky.
Okay, all right.
Now, these will be in different parts of the states. Actually, here where I live, and you might laugh, but it's called the Big Ugly Wildlife Management Area.
Okay.
They're supposed to have some put there. And then there's a couple other places in Logan and Mingo counties in the Laurel Creek Wildlife Management Area that they're going to stock them in there too.
Are they going to commingle the Arizona and the Kentucky elk together and have them hopefully have that genetic crossbreeding between those two herds, or are they going to try to keep them separate?
I don't know, actually, to be honest with you. Isn't the Arizona's got bigger elk, don't they?
I think so. That's the reason I was asking, because I think that's a different subspecies out there than what they have in Kentucky.
I don't know exactly where they're going to put them. It's just going to be down here in the southern part. It could be up at the Tomlin WMA, or it could be the Big Ugly WMA. I don't know, but
okay.
They said probably it's not going to be till around March before we get them in here.
Okay. Well, like you said, they got them quarantined. I got to imagine
it's getting close.
They're checking
90 days, right?
for whatever disease they check for. Plus, the big thing right now is CWD. They don't want to transport anything from another state that might have be contaminated with a disease, and then bring it and then turn it loose in a whole new area that's pristine. So,
and also too, they put a microchip in them.
Okay.
They put the collars on them.
Okay.
So they're monitored pretty heavy.
Oh yeah, they do that here in the state of Michigan with the elk and moose
and wolves.
No comment.
Danny's going to get his soapbox out now.
No, I'm not.
Sorry, I touched a nerve.
But anyways, yeah. So are they okay? How are they going to transport 60 elk?
How do they?
They're putting them in cattle wagons.
Okay, they're going to travel over land.
Okay.
All right.
When they dropped ours in, they brought them in with
cut the horns.
Oh, they're going to take the antlers off. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because when they brought them to Michigan, they did a helicopter drop.
Yep. They tranquilized them, picked them up, flew them by helicopter downstate, and
they
dropped
put them in
off.
a huge saddle and strapped them.
Well, that's how they trapped them.
Okay.
They tranquilized them, and then they was able to go out and get them, do like what you're saying, because there was an article in the paper here and tell them what they were doing, and they were doing the same thing what you're saying. They tranquilized them, used the helicopter, and they would transport them one at a time. And they had a team waiting on them to do the evaluations, the blood checks, the age of it and everything else.
Right. Well, that's got to be exciting for your area.
Oh yeah, it's real good. I tell you what's really exciting. A friend of mine, which is in with me, his name's Roger Wolf. He's part of our EWTF local chapter, and he found one of the sheds of the wolves. They cut the antlers off, and just left, and just where they didn't cut it off the head. Where it shed it off back in the turkey season.
Okay, so he found the shed off one of the bulls.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It was cut on both ends and just had just coming out of the head part, and he stepped on it and found it.
That's pretty cool.
Speaking of John Brillhart, fellow West Virginian, is getting an elk update from you as he listens to the show. And Anthony Dale Setliff, Lim Walker game calls. The cherry glass sounds awesome.
Anthony just bought one. I mailed his out to him Monday, and he got it on Tuesday.
So he must be playing it.
Something we haven't talked about, getting back over to turkey calls, price range for the calls. Where do they start and where do they end? That price range for people. And also the turkey sling. What's the cost on that?
Okay, on the turkey sling is $12 plus $3 shipping.
$15. Okay.
$15. The calls, my plastic double-side call is $30.
Okay.
And it comes with a hickory striker and a call bag.
Okay.
I didn't send you the call bags because I didn't have them at the time, but my call bag, and it's a protected you just slide it down in, and it's not going to make a lot of noise in your vest.
Gotcha.
The wood pots are $40, and I do glass, slate, aluminum, crystal, and when available, I can do ceramic and copper.
Okay.
And all but the copper and the ceramic are 3 1/4 inch surface, and they come with a wood soundboard. Now, you see on the bottom, if you look up to those holes, you'll see that piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
That's the soundboard on the inside of it. And now I do make anything that if you wanted a certain combo like a glass over slate in a wood pot, single side, I can do that. Or if you want a slate over glass or aluminum over glass, all you have to do is tell me what what combo you want. You just want a regular cherry wood, glass over wood call, it's ready to ship out and I can ship it the next day.
Okay.
But if you want one that has a glass surface with a slate surface, then I'll have to fix one up. But it's usually I can put it out in 2 days.
You mean side by side on the call, the top side of the call? When you say is it a double sided or a single sided with two different pieces in it?
The wood or single side.
And then you take
plastic or the double side.
Right. But okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. What I'm saying, the combo is on your soundboard on the single side. Some people will want like a glass soundboard.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Cool.
They make different combinations. I mean, and like aluminum, I just got the aluminum actually. I'll have to send you guys a couple of those because I got to get some more in. I've sold them all. And
okay.
The aluminum are so loud. I mean, it's a long distance call.
Yes.
It is when you get on a windy day or a rainy day or something like it, you're out. That call will scream to you. But some people will use aluminum over glass with a glass soundboard. So but I particularly like the wood. I like the way the sound, the sound is with the wood on the wood soundboard. I just use them. And
they can contact you on Facebook or Instagram, and you accept, I'm assuming, PayPal or whatever might be form of payment?
Yep, PayPal, cash, and I can send you, they can PM me here on Facebook, and I can send them all the information they need. On my Facebook page, you can get on there and like it, share it, please, and you can see all the combination calls that I have. And if there's something on there that I may not have that you might be interested in, just PM me.
All right, we can do that. You know what, Tim? It has been a great pleasure to have you on for the show, welcoming you as a sponsor of Up North Journal. You'll be our sole caller this year.
Caller? He's going to come call for us here in the woods? You said he's going to be our sole caller. We're going to bring him to Michigan?
I'm waiting for him to answer that.
I wish.
Hey, when is I tell you what, Danny, when does the season open?
The third week of April.
Yeah, third week of April, and I'm going to hunt that month of May.
You're taking the May hunt?
Yeah.
I'll take the third week of April, May, probably.
So, yeah.
And then it goes like the third week of April, the last week of April, the first week of May, and then you have the
rest of May.
The rest of May to hunt.
Yeah.
That's ours opens up ours opens the 16th of April and goes for 4 weeks.
Okay, yours is just about the same, close to the same time. Real close.
Same time, yeah.
Yeah, real close.
All right.
So,
I tell you what, actually, I've already got a couple of guys that I've already promised to take. Let me check, and if who knows, if something works out, I'd love to come up.
Oh, we'd love to have you up here. Absolutely. Yeah, if you're ever up this way, definitely let us know.
Bring the wife up to Taylor.
Yeah. Actually, your wife is from Michigan originally, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. But no, Tim, thanks a lot. Thanks for sponsoring Up North Journal. And
we want to hear some good stories, turkey stories this year. So we're going to get you back on turkey season, and we want to know how you did down there as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I look forward to it, and I appreciate the opportunity to, with Liam Walker and Up North Journal. I come across your all's live feed on Sundays. And, most of the time I'm in church, but this is one day we don't have church of the evening, and we was able to make this happen. I have looked forward to it ever since I've been invited. So,
well, the one thing we haven't said about you is you also live stream every Friday night at 8 o'clock?
Yep. I go live on Lim.
Live on the
Fridays at 8 o'clock.
And that's on Lim Walker Game Call Facebook page, correct?
Nope, that's on my personal page.
On your personal page, okay, all right. So
I just share it through everything. I've got more I've got more friends on my personal page than I do on my Walker page.
Gotcha.
So I just do it on both of them.
Okay. So yeah, Danny and I both always share that. 9 times out of 10, I'm at work. and I'm out right now chasing basketball games. But the other night I did peek in real quick during a basketball game at halftime.
Right. I was at a wild game dinner.
So we share those as well. So make sure you guys get over to his page on Facebook. Check out his live stream 8:00 Friday nights, and he's always over there talking turkey, talking calls, and other good stuff.
Absolutely.
So. But it's been a pleasure having you on. We're going to wrap up the podcast here. For everybody that's on the live stream,
stay tuned. Hang on.
Because we're not going to let him go just yet. We'll if you got any questions, we'll throw them his way. But for the podcast, that'll do it for us this week. And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. As we always say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Turkey Calls,
Antler Action,
Family Tradition Tree Stands,
and Twisted Mind Bowstrings.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.